And problem number 29. This is another one that requires some fuzzy math and some creative thinking right here, but it also requires us to have an understanding of what the absolute value of x actually means. Now, we are taking a limit here as x is approaching negative infinity. That's important because the only x values we are considering here are negative x values. If this was a limit as x approaches, I'm going to undo this, guys, so don't make any changes here. If this was a limit as x approaches positive infinity, if x was a positive value, absolute value has no impact on a positive number at all, so we could just replace that whole thing with an x and make this numerator then just become 2x. But that is not what's happening in this problem. We are instead considering what's happening as x is approaching negative infinity. So what's happening now is that x is only going to be a negative value. So what's that going to do for us right here, guys? That is going to equal, let's take a look, the absolute value of x. This is the important thing to realize here, guys, that the absolute value of x, when you put in a negative number, it ends up positive. That positive answer is the opposite of the number that you started with. So the absolute value of x is simply equal to the opposite of x if x is less than 0. If x is a negative number, this statement is true. Think about that, guys. If we were to put in the absolute value of negative 8, that would equal the opposite of the x value you put in. X was negative 8, and the opposite of negative 8 is 8. And that happens because we put in a negative number here. So, because we know, whoa, that was weird. I hope I didn't just lose everything. Because we know, let's go back to where we were. Got it. Because we know that x is going to be a negative number in this problem, this term right here can simply become a negative x. So what does that do for us, everybody? That is now going to equal the limit as x approaches negative infinity of, that's a negative x on top plus x all over x plus 1. Well, that's going to end up giving us a 0 in the numerator. And down in the denominator, negative infinity plus 1. Again, you guys, this is symbolic and not literal, but that is approaching a value of negative infinity. So 0 divided by any non-zero number is going to end up giving us an answer of 0 for problem number 29.